Okay, moving our way through the hip twist series, we're moving up to the next level where the moving leg is going to be off the floor. So of course that's much more difficult because the weight substantially increases as we perform that. It starts from the rest position, as does the rest of the hip twist series, and that's where we're going to start this tutorial in just a second. So as per usual, when you're in your rest position, the legs will be parallel, they'll be hip width apart, and you've got that nice grounding with your feet into the mat. The neutral position of the back and pelvis is established, and ideally those core muscles will be switched on in the background. But don't worry if that's still not a concept that's very familiar to you, it comes with practice. Just like we did in our level 1 hip twist, where the hands are laid on the front and then you perform your hip twist movement with that dissociation, just moving one leg while everything else remains still, I would have your hands resting on your pelvis again, just to really give that feedback, that tactile feedback that you are indeed keeping your pelvis in the correct place. Now for the hip twist, it requires the ability to go to a single tabletop. So take a breath in to prepare and then breathe out to bring that leg up into your tabletop position. And that really is the start almost of the hip twist. From here, the foot and knee are pointing in the same direction down the mat. They are in line with each other. And it's important that that stays the case as you perform your hip twist. Take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, the foot and knee move out to the side together, keeping everything else still, and then you come back to tabletop, and then you lower down. So if you're new to this level, I would take it in stages. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out to come to tabletop. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out to take the knee and foot out. Breathe in to come back. And breathe out to lower down. Now when you are performing your hip twist, try and really think about that foot and knee staying in the same line as one another, because what tends to happen is that the foot will remain back in the center. So if I just turn around to face the camera slightly, if the foot remains in and the knee goes wider, the hip joint is rotating, which we don't want. But it's a way you can kind of cheat in this exercise because there's not as much weight shifting. You can almost put the foot in, the knee out, and cancel the two out. Whereas what we want is for that foot and knee to move out to the side together and then come back in together before lowering down. Now, just like in our level 1 of the hip twist, as you move your leg out, the further you move it, the more weight there will be relative to your center, and you might lift and lose control of the pelvis. We don't want that happening. The other thing that will tend to happen is that the remaining leg can get used as that counterbalance, and you see that moving as the gesture leg is doing its transit out and back. So, dissociation of movement again. Coming up, only moving this gesture leg as much as you can without any unwanted movement of the remaining leg or your pelvis. And because we're up in the air with this exercise and the leg is moving in the air and there's much more relative weight for your core mechanisms to deal with, there is always the chance that if you overshoot or it's too difficult an exercise for you, you're going to feel strain in your back. We don't want that. So just like the level 1, if you're only moving that leg an inch or two out to the side before coming back, then that's far more preferable than just chucking the leg out, losing control, and then causing stress and strain, which at best just promotes bad patterns, but at worst can actually strain and annoy things and then leads to discomfort. So as you move the leg out to the side, only move as far as you can with control, with smoothness, with the dissociation of movement. And I think for a gentle level of exercise, I would stay with that staged pattern. Breathing out as you bring to tabletop, breathing in to hold still. Breathing out as the leg moves to the side, breathing in to come back, and then breathing out to lower down, and take it at that pace. You can speed it up once you're a little bit more well versed in it, but that's probably a sensible strategy for those who are starting out on this level.